It's not stopping me. I'm still gonna do everything. I'm gonna go to school, hopefully, next semester.
Big dreams from a young Minneapolis shooting victim finding her voice again after she was hit in the neck by a stray bullet. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kelsey Carlson.
And I'm Randy Meyer. Micaiah Carpenter was critically injured in a mass shooting outside her Lynn Lake neighborhood workplace more than a month ago. Her recovery, nothing short of a miracle.
And our Paul Blume spent some time with Micaiah at her church today. And Paul, there have been so many prayers for her. So great to see her and also to hear her tonight.
Isn't it, Kelsey? Just 18, this young woman full of heart and full of fight. When this shooting occurred at the end of August, no one knew whether she would ever get her voice back. Now it is a whisper, you heard her there, but the sky absolutely the limit for this recent Minneapolis North High grad who has a lot to say, particularly about the devastating impact of gun violence.
And I even pray that when endorsements and things come for your voice to be amplified, that God will literally bless you in every way, in every route that you take.
Inside this North Minneapolis church on Sunday, the love, support, and prayers for Micaiah Carpenter were overwhelming.
It's all the community. It takes a village.
The 18-year-old was shot in the neck more than 5 weeks ago now. An innocent victim struck by gunfire in a mass shooting right outside the Lynn Lake neighborhood bar and restaurant where she was working. Initially, doctors didn't know if she would ever speak again.
I woke up on a ventilator. Doctors were surprised because I was fighting them to take it out. I didn't need it. Doctors were surprised that I put up a fight.
And Micaiah hasn't stopped fighting since, greeting supporters and well-wishers from her hospital bed in those early days. Now she's going to Vikings games, her voice soft but coming back like the fierce survivor she is. Her dreams of college studies and a nursing career only temporarily derailed.
I was gonna move to Chicago, start classes down there, live with my sister, but I'm still gonna do it. It's just slow down right now.
And as her voice gains strength, one topic Micaiah won't avoid: gun violence and the devastating toll it is taking on the community.
It's our women that are being damaged by this. Their mothers are losing kids. Kids are dying like it's innocent people. I just feel like more people need to speak up and talk. Our community is too quiet.
At that point, 6 others were injured in that shooting in the early morning hours of August 26th. Fortunately, no one was killed. And as for Micaiah, not only can she speak again, doctors have also recently cleared her to eat regular food again and not rely on her feeding tube. She told me her very first meal was Benihana's, the Japanese restaurant. I have a feeling we'll be seeing and hearing a lot more from Micaiah in the days and years to come. Paul Blume, Fox 9.
Paul Blume joins us now live. And Paul, the family dealt a major blow today after hearing the case, as we just heard, against the alleged shooter will not be moving forward.
Randy, Kelsey, so much frustration here. You heard it in the voice of the Hennepin County attorney. Of course, there's the little boy's mother and his loved ones. They all are absolutely convinced that this guy, Chris Welch, is the shooter. But there will be no trial. There will be absolutely no justice for little King.
And one of the reasons he's getting away with it is because all the witnesses are disappearing.
In an exclusive interview with me, Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman, angry and disgusted, just hours after his office was forced to dismiss murder charges against Chris Welch in the 2016 shooting death of 2-year-old Levante King Jason Jones.
But we can't do our job without help in the community.
You may remember the little boy was killed when the minivan he was riding in with his dad and sister was struck by bullets at the intersection of Penn and Lowry Avenues North in a case that rocked the community. The rolling shooting, captured on nearby surveillance, appeared to confirm an exchange of gunfire between the children's father and Welch in a separate vehicle. Our Courtney Godfrey confronted Welch, who maintained his innocence shortly after the shooting.
Were you involved at all?
Not at all.
Authorities, though, never bought Welch's story, eventually charging him with second-degree murder. But with the case finally set for trial next week, Freeman explained his prosecutors no longer have any cooperating, believable witnesses, including King's father.
His lack of cooperation, and the lack of cooperation, they'll get to the bottom of the death, unnecessary, violent, tragic death of a 2-year-old, is extremely frustrating. And unfortunately, it's something we're seeing more often than we'd like to acknowledge.
And just into our newsroom this evening, we are hearing directly from King's loved ones. They are in absolute disbelief that their 5-year quest for justice has ended today.
It's heartbreaking. That's all I can say. It's heartbreaking. I feel like we've gotten convictions with less evidence before. You know, it's heartbreaking that a 2-year-old's, life and light was extinguished, and it's just now literally dismissed.
As for the gunman here, Chris Welch, he is currently serving time on a federal weapons conviction. That's a separate case, so he will remain behind bars. He doesn't walk home today. But make no mistake here, the family absolutely feels as though justice was not served with the dismissal of these state murder charges. We're live in downtown Minneapolis. Paul Blume, Fox 9.
I selected the Minnesota. There was one of my friend. He said me that Minnesota is very good place for living in the United States. So that I was before selected to immigrate to the Minnesota.
Well, the first wave of Afghan families has started arriving here following the U.S. military withdrawal at the end of August. State officials tell us hundreds of refugees from the war-torn country will soon follow.
And tonight, Fox 9's Paul Blume has the story of one family's dramatic journey escaping Kabul just one day before Afghanistan fell to the Taliban.
So there was no time to bring something with us. Nothing. We just came with one shirt and one clothes and one pair of shoes or nothing.
Khan Maruf Khail and his large family, a wife and 7 children, scrambled to the airport in Kabul. It was August 13th. The Afghan government was on the brink of collapse as the Taliban pushed across the country, and the capital city was mere hours away from plunging into chaos. The Maruf Khails just missed these desperate scenes as their last-minute evacuation flight took off.
We left everything, home, furniture, clothes, everything left. And that time we just thought about how can we be safe, to be in somewhere to be safe. So my feeling was not good, but now I feel happy.
Absolutely thrilled to be in Minnesota, specifically Savage in the South Metro, which has opened its arms wide to welcome Khan and his kids.
So we are going to be learning a couple new letters today.
His young daughter, Aksa, already practicing the alphabet as a first grader at Glendale Elementary.
C, K. Good.
She just completed her first full week of school in America. Her English learners teacher recalled watching the U.S. military withdrawal and the fall of Afghanistan only weeks ago. And now here's Aksa in her classroom.
And I think for all of us, right, we saw it and saw that it was really tragic, but it's also really easy to sort of make it feel like it's an other, a faraway thing that doesn't impact us. So I'm really excited that I have the opportunity to welcome and love this family while they're here.
Beyond his family's safety and security, Khan tells me that his children's schooling and their futures is what matters most. He himself, a well-educated physician in his native country. His work in public health management, supporting U.S. efforts to improve Afghan healthcare and nutrition, made him eligible for special visa status to come to the States. 6 years after first applying, Khan's paperwork finally came through at the 11th hour.
My 3 brothers and 3 sisters and their children, they are still there, and they are at risk.
I think people underestimate just how difficult it is to give up everything that you've ever known, and that you've left a lot of family behind, you've left your career behind, and it's just a very big adjustment, and it takes time.
Despite the challenges that lay ahead, Khan has such a positive outlook. So grateful for the opportunities he and his family have been given. The resettlement agency he is working with, the International Institute of Minnesota, found a large, beautiful home in Savage and is covering the first 6 months of rent to give his family of 9 some time to acclimate and for him to find work.
I don't like to be here for benefits because I also like to support others.
One idea Khan has is assisting the tens of thousands of Afghan refugees coming to the United States right behind him. Many currently housed at military bases, including Fort McCoy in western Wisconsin, where they are currently being processed and vaccinated and will soon be moved to communities all across this country. We hear a lot about living the American dream. Are you ready to grab that American dream and live yours?
I saw all the America through Google Earth, Google Map, and Google. I saw that's when I will be there.
And here you are.
Yeah, now we are. Yeah.
And I mean,
that was my dream, and I meet.
You dreamed of coming here.
I got, yeah. That was my dream to win. That's one day I will be there. Now I'm here.
Officials at the Department of Human Services report that only 35 Afghans with this special immigrant visa status, those aiding U.S. government and military interests overseas like translators, have arrived to Minnesota since May. We're also told the state is expecting up to 300 or so additional Afghan evacuees and refugees in the coming weeks, a number that is likely to grow. As for Khan, he acknowledges he wants to get to work just as soon as possible to support his family. And beyond helping other Afghans, he is committed to continuing his service in the public health care management system, even if it requires updated coursework and studies beyond what he has already completed in his native Afghanistan. Paul Blume, Fox 9.